All right. Welcome to the 2020 draft review for There's No Place Like Dome. I'm going to talk like that the whole time. Looks like something's growing out of my ear. Anyways. All right, guys. I got a typed up version of this as well, so I will send that along in the messenger after I send the video. I'm going to go by order of picks, so I'm going to start with Sean. Sean, I gave him a team name of CMC and the Funky Bunch. To me, his best pick was CMC. Obviously, first overall, can't go wrong there. Solid pick. His worst pick to me is Evan Ingram. Don't like him. Great athlete. Gonna play 5 games, maybe. So, should have got another tight end there, Sean. My favorite keeper of his was Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, got him in the 5th round. And I just told Blake I would call him back, and he always has to fuck up everything. All right. His sleeper for me, I liked Joe Burrow, where he got Joe Burrow, and I also loved Noah Fant. So I guess Noah Fant kind of makes up for his Evan Ingram pick. Cool. His make or break player to me, it's either Raheem Mostert or Hollywood Brown. He needs one of those dudes to pan out and I guess exceed their draft position. So it's a good one. Strengths. Obviously, CMC in the running back position. He did really well there. He's got a lot of depth. His weaknesses, I think it's wide receiver for me. He doesn't have a whole lot of depth at wide receiver. So I gave him a draft grade of A minus. It was a good draft there, Sean. And preseason rank of 3rd in the league. All right. Second pick, Ryan. He's got Jordan Howard, and he's a white supremacist, so I gave his team the nickname White Howard. The white power. His best pick to me, Julio Jones or Adam Thielen in the second. 2 strong receivers to start off with. Love those picks. His worst pick, fucking 49ers defense, Ryan. Grow up, Peter Pan. Count Chocula. We're not fucking Brandon here. Jesus, that was ridiculous. I think he took him like the 11th or 10th round. I don't know. I have it somewhere. That's so stupid. But, it's Ryan. My favorite keeper of his, DK Metcalf. I like DK Metcalf this year. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think he got him in like the 8th or 9th round, so no risk. Good keeper there, Ryan. Sleeper, Antonio Brown. If he gets signed halfway through the season and Ryan's in any sort of playoff contention or hunt, and Antonio Brown gets to play after those first 8 games, that could be a league winner. So I really like that pick. It wasn't too early, wasn't too late. It was good. It was a good pick. His make or break player, mine for him is either Devin Singletary or Melvin Gordon. I know he didn't draft Gordon, but he traded for him during the draft. So Singletary, I don't know with Moss there. I've heard Moss is going to do kind of what Frank Gore did last year, and he's younger. So who knows that Moss doesn't just keep on eating away into Devin Singletary's carries and or involvement. And then Melvin Gordon, I didn't really like him towards the end of last year with the Chargers. He's going to a new team. Philip Lindsay's there. I just, he's gotta do something. If he doesn't, then that could really fuck Ryan's team over. Ryan's strengths, wide receiver. We went over this. Julio Jones, Adam Thielen, great 1-2 punch. His weaknesses, running back, over the same. I guess what I just mentioned. There's no certainty there, so hopefully one of those guys pans out for him. I gave him a draft grade of a B minus. I did like the moves he made before the draft. Getting a couple extra picks out of moving back 7 spots was a good move, even though I would have stuck with Barkley. His preseason rank to me is 9th. Sorry, Ryan. Just there's a lot of talent up there for these other teams and a lot of strength in their schedules or in their rosters. Third draft position, Philip Wyatt. His team name for me is Atlanta Falcons Fuck the World, because if the Falcons play well, Philip plays well. To me, his best pick, Todd Gurley in the second. I really like that pick, especially with how deep our league is, how many keepers off the board. They've said they're going to give him 15 to 25 touches a game. Still only 26, I think 26 or 27 years old. He definitely has the knee issues, but he's had those ever since he's been in the league. So I do like Todd Gurley pick there. His worst pick to me was Debo. Just thought it was too early. He's had to start out on the IR. He might be there for week 1. Who knows? And It's not like the 49ers are a pass-heavy offense anyway, so there's a lot of uncertainty there. My favorite keeper of his, Calvin Ridley. I expect big things out of Ridley this year. He's a touchdown machine. If he plays all 16 games, there's no reason that him and Julio could both finish or no reason that both of them couldn't finish in the top 12. Sleeper, D.D. Westbrook. They're going to be behind. One of the reasons I like Chark this year is D.D. Westbrook is, the number 2 or slot guy there. I guess Chris Conley's technically number 2. But if they're down every game, which it looks like they're going to be, D.D. could definitely put in some PPR work and, be a solid, flex or wide receiver 3. And then I also liked Henry Ruggs because I think he's going to be utilized in the Raiders offense, starting from day one. Make or break player, Austin Hooper. I don't think Philip knows this, but he's not a Falcon this year. I don't really like him going to Cleveland, but you never know. Maybe Cleveland starts utilizing their tight end position more. But I think if Philip wants his team to succeed, I think Hooper has to produce. David Montgomery's same thing. If David Montgomery does kind of what he did last year, doesn't improve any, he could really kind of pull Phillips' team down. So hopefully we get that going. His strengths, obviously, running back with Zeke and Gurley, and then Montgomery as an RB3 if he produces, could be all right. His weaknesses, tight end, because Austin Hooper's not a Falcon, Philip. I don't know if you knew that. I gave him a draft grade with B+. Thought it was a pretty good draft. His preseason rank for me is 7th in our league. So we'll see how that goes. I'm usually always wrong, so it doesn't matter. 4th pick, Joe. His team name is Gay with 1 R. I thought that was funny. Best pick to me, Tyler Boyd in the 4th, dude. If AJ Green goes down, Tyler Boyd's going to be, a borderline wide receiver 1. They're going to air the ball out. They brought Burrow in. I really like Boyd this year. Been trying to get him, but, haven't been successful. Worst pick, Cole Beasley. White guys belong to Ryan or Hartsey, Joe, and you know this. So stop drafting wide receivers. That's for Ryan. All right. Favorite keeper, Michael fucking Thomas. Hate that fucking dude. And Joe will probably be able to keep him forever until he retires because I think he got him in like the 9th round or 10th round this year. It's fucking retarded. Sleeper, Justin Jefferson, but I have heard that BC Johnson's getting all the first team reps at the wide receiver 2. Who knows if that lasts. Also, Vikings are a run heavy team, so that's why he's a sleeper. You don't know what's gonna happen. Make or break player to me is Dalvin Cook because I think that dude's gonna die. I'm hoping, anyways, because I have Madison. Strengths, obviously, Michael Thomas, Chris Godwin in the wide receiver position. Weaknesses, running back certainty because, he's got a lot of dudes on there like Dalvin Cook's injury prone, David Johnson's injury prone, so he really needs some of those guys to stay healthy. Draft grade A, and my preseason rank isn't even because of his draft. Just starting off with Michael Thomas and Chris Godwin later than the 9th round for both of them is insane, so he's got my preseason number 1 ranking. All right, I was the 5th pick, and not in the actual draft because I didn't have a first or second rounder, but my team name's Winner Chicken Dinner because I am your fantasy champion. I don't have my ring on; it started giving me a green spot around my finger, so I stopped wearing it. My best pick, I believe, was Carson Wentz in the 15th. Dude's been a top 10 QB in the league fantasy wise. Anytime he's played more than 15 games, he's solid. I couldn't believe he fell that far. Obviously, I put him up for auction, and Blake has him now. But as far as the draft goes, I think that's my favorite pick. My worst pick, Mecole Hardman. I reached on him. It's one of the reasons I put him up for auction. I just didn't really have a need for him, and I think he's kind of one of those players that unless Tyreek Hill goes down, you're not going to know when to start him. So, my favorite keeper is DJ Chark. I didn't technically have him in the round he was supposed to be taken, but he was my keeper after I traded the 2nd round. I love the dude. Like I said, Jacksonville's going to be down a lot early and often, and Minshew really had a good connection with Chark last year. And I already have a bet with Blake and Squid that he's going to be a top 8 receiver, which he is because he's DJ Chark and awesome. My sleeper is Antonio Gibson. He is my black CMC. Hopefully, if he can make his way to the top of the depth chart. Ron Rivera's compared him to CMC. Dude's TD rate in college was insane. Granted, he didn't get a lot of touches, but all reports in camp, which it is just camp and it's just coaches talking, have really they've really talked highly of this guy. So I'm trying to get him in all my leagues. It's probably not the smartest thing in the world because if he busts, but I just really like him. So that's my sleeper for me. Make or break players Mark Ingram and or J.K. Dobbins. I need one of those to prove that they're the number one and get 15 plus touches per game. Because if not, it's going to be a guessing game for me. So I really need Baltimore to either run the ball 50 times a game with those two, or figure out which one's going to get the bulk of the carries. Strengths, my wide receiver and wide receiver depth. I got DJ Moore, Chark, and Robert Woods, which are all wide receiver twos. They were wide receiver twos last year. All have potential to be wide receiver ones if things go their way. And I got Brandon Cooks, Brian Edwards. I got a little bit of depth there. My weakness is obviously my running back starters. Right now I'm starting Ronald Jones and fucking Mark Ingram, so who knows what's going to happen there. I do have a little bit of depth at the position if some of those guys pan out to be starters, but other than that, my running backs are pretty weak. Gave myself a draft grade of a C. It's my first honest draft grade of myself because I had a pretty bad draft. Just making those trades before the draft was just kind of hurt me. And my weaknesses are... that's what I just said. My running backs. Draft grade C, preseason rank 10th. I couldn't put myself any higher than that, but wait and see. All right, 6th pick, Corey. He is the new male Karen because that dude bitches about everything. Seriously. Get on Yelp and complain about me. I don't care anymore. His best pick, Juju Smith-Schuster in the 2nd. Big Ben back. Juju could definitely have a bounce back here and be one of those dudes that just carries his wide receiver core to the top. Obviously we'll have to wait and see, but I really like that pick. His worst pick to me, Edelman. We've been over this. Wide receivers belong to Hartsey or Ryan. Let those guys have their white supremacy and let them. We need to let that happen. My favorite keeper of his, Austin Eckler. I mean, I did like Waller in the 15, but Eckler's just, if he does anything like he did last year, being the number one, and he wasn't even the number one all year last year, he's gonna definitely outperform his keeper value. So that's my favorite keeper. Sleeper, Jared Cook. Jared Cook is a good pick for Squid. I think he got him pretty late. I want to say it's like the 15th. Let me see here. Where did he get him? Corey. 14th round. I mean, that dude's been on everyone's preseason ranks of ninth tight end or better, and he got him as like the 15th tight end, so that's a really good pick. I liked it. Make or break player is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't think he starts off the season getting as many touches as Squid hopes, but it's going to be up to him to kind of stay steadfast and true and just hope that dude actually turns into that RB1 that he drafted him as, because if he panics and tries to dish him off, he's going to win somebody else the fantasy championship. Strengths, his running back position, he's got Henry, Eckler, and then like we just talked about, if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is anything, then he's going to be in good shape. Weaknesses, his QB, I can't remember who his QB was. I wasn't too impressed if I can remember right. Josh Allen. I think that's who it is. Not a big fan. Dude's inconsistent. And his wide receiver depth. Now, his starting wide receivers are fine, but his depth is what I'm kind of worried about there. I gave him a draft grade of a B+, and his preseason rank in my book is 5th. All right, number 7 pick, Hartsey. I gave it his team nickname I got from Joe. It's Press A because that motherfucker yells Press A all the time during PGA 2K1. His best pick to me, Mike Evans in the 2nd. Great pick. A lot of people sleep on Mike Evans every year. He's been a top 14 or better receiver in the league ever since he came into the league. So I don't know why everyone always sleeps on him. Worst pick, Tyler Higbee. That was early, dude. 6th round, and Granted, Tyler Higbee didn't do anything last year until Gerald Everett was out. Believe me, I love Higbee. I had him last year. He helped carry me to the ship. But with Gerald Everett being there, you never know who's going to be the guy every week. And you hope it's Higbee, but I just think he kind of reached on him. That's all. Favorite keeper is Kamara if he plays, but if he doesn't, at least he's smart enough to pick up Latavius so that he still has that starting RB there. His sleeper, I love T. Higgins, but only if AJ Green gets hurt. Because if not, then I don't think T. Higgins gets a lot of field time. His make or break player, Nick Chubb. If Nick Chubb is the Nick Chubb of the first 13 weeks last year, then he's fine. If he's the Nick Chubb of the last 4 weeks, doesn't look good. Strengths, obviously his running back starters. If Chubb does everything all right, and his wide receiving starters are pretty solid as well, so he's good to go there. His weaknesses is depth at wide receiver. Slayton. If I were you, I would have kept AJ Brown, but I get it if you want to add some depth. But I'm not a big N'Keal Harry guy either, so I don't know if that depth was really worth it. I gave him a draft grade of a B plus. He definitely had some good keepers coming in, so his preseason rank to me is second, but he will find a way to fuck that up because it's Hartsfield. Pick 8, Dustin Pogalicious. His team name that I gave him was Rookie Rim Jobber. Too many rookies, dude. Too many. Especially no preseason. We don't know if any of these guys are going to get the work that you think. Best pick, though, turned out to be Raquel Armstead. I laughed at the pick when it happened, but now that Fournette is out of Jacksonville, we don't know where he's going. That Raquel Armstead pick looks pretty good. Just sucks that you drafted Fournette, too, and don't really know what's going to go on there. Worst pick, Leonard Fournette. I didn't like him that early either anyways, but now that he's cut, I don't think he goes anywhere and makes an immediate impact. He probably would get worked into a system somewhere, wherever he goes. But the upside is he's playing for a contract now, so maybe that gives him a little incentive to do better wherever he goes. Favorite keeper, George Kittle. You don't fucking deserve him. I'm kind of mad at Chuck, so you got lucky there. Sleeper, Devin Duvernay. I drafted this dude in one of my dynasty leagues. He's a super fucking fast slot receiver out of Texas, and the Ravens they got lost Hayden Hurst, so they might work Duvernay into the slot a little bit. I know they worked some tight ends out of the slot last year, so we'll see. Obviously, he's a sleeper because we don't know, so we'll see what happens there. Make or break players, Cam Akers, because if Cam Akers isn't the starter or splits carries, that pick's gonna be pretty bad for you. It's gonna be, that's a third rounder, and who knows? We just don't know yet. I guess we'll wait and see. Strengths, rookies. Weaknesses, rookies. Too many fucking rookies. It's a bad draft, Pogue. I'm sorry. I love you though. You'll get it next year. Draft grade C minus, and his preseason rank is 12th. Sorry. All right, pick 9, Josh. It's Saquon or Bust is the team name I gave him because that dude obviously wants to prove something with getting Saquon again. His best pick to me was Michael Gallup in the 4th. I don't understand the disparity between Gallup and Cooper. Gallup actually outperformed Cooper on a per-game basis last year, and I think he's poised for a breakout season. I honestly think Cooper might be the odd man out in this offense. Obviously, he's still going to outperform CD, but I think, CD eventually usurps that number 1 or number 2 role. So, but not this year. So, Gallup, I really like this year. Worst pick, James Washington. I know you did it just to appease Michael, but god damn, that dude's nothing. Favorite keeper, Kenny G. Galladay is special, man, and if Stafford plays this entire season, he might outperform last year. Who knows? His CD rate was pretty high to his receptions, but no reason he can't do that again in that offense. Sleeper, Preston Williams, man. Before Preston Williams went down last year, he was, a borderline wide receiver 3 as a rookie. Devontae Parker kind of stepped up after he left, but we'll see how that ACL injury holds up this year for Preston Williams. I really like that pick. Make or break player, Chris Carson. If Chris Carson does what he did last year, that's a fantastic pick. Obviously before he got injured. But if any injury or split in time with Carlos Hyde or anything happens, then that pick's gonna kind of fuck him a little. Strengths RB position with Saquon and Carson in his 1 and 2. It's great 1 and 2 running backs. His weaknesses is depth, in my opinion. So we'll see there. His draft grade to me would be plus. He didn't give up third and fifth to get up to 2. Got an eighth back, but that depth right there in those third and fifth rounds is kind of necessary. Preseason rank is fourth, so he's starting off in the playoffs in my book. All right, 10th pick. 10th pick was Jake, Mr. 5 minutes to draft. I think everyone's talking about Clint taking forever, but Jake, you took a long time to draft. I know you're fucked up though, so we'll let it slide. Best pick, Joe Mixon. He basically got Joe Mixon for DJ Moore. He won that, and I lost that, but I really like DJ Moore this year, and I wasn't a big fan of Mixon, but I think dude could easily be a top 5 running back if Cincinnati does what everyone thinks Cincinnati's gonna do. Worst pick, Jalen Reagor. Dude's injured, rookie. I don't know what it is about Philadelphia, but fucking wide receivers cannot stay fucking healthy there. That sucks, even before seeing the field. Favorite keeper, Dakota Prescott. Dude, you got him in the 15th round. He's the number 2 or 3 QB last year, so it's great value. So position you didn't have to worry about all during the draft. Sleeper for me is Blake Jarwin, and having that stack of Dak and Jarwin is huge. Witten had, I think, is just above 90-something receptions last year, or targets last year. And Jarwin had 20-something, so if you just kind of combine those, Jarwin could have 100 targets this year, especially in our offense. So, that's a big sleeper for me, and I really like that pick. Make or break player is A.J. Green. A.J. Green, when on the field, is a force. But when is the last time we saw him on the field? It's 2018, and it wasn't even for a full season. So, if he's healthy, he can make your team. If not, could kind of really come down on you. Strengths, running back position. He's got Jacobs and Mixon. Great 10th and 12th picks. It was awesome. Yeah. Still recording? Yeah, it's still recording. Cool. Where am I at? Strengths, running backs there. I just went over that. Weaknesses is wide receiver certainty. There's some things with this team I saw that I didn't, don't necessarily think are all that certain. So there's that. All right, I gave him draft grade of B+, and his preseason rank is 6, so he's in the playoffs as well. All right, Clint, the couch hunter. Kind of like House Hunter, but he just sleeps on people's couches. His best pick, Tyreek Hill, no doubt. I didn't think Tyreek Hill would make it to the 14th pick in the second round. It was a great pick. Worst pick, Ito Smith, and I don't understand this, but Clint just keeps talking about Gurley getting hurt and Ito Smith being something, but even when Ito Smith was getting carries last year, he was nothing. Dude is god-awful at the running back position. Just terrible. It's trash. My favorite keeper of Clint's was Aaron Jones, obviously, because it's the only one he kept. He traded John Brown. But Aaron Jones, RB2 last year. A running back, too, like, overall. And, he did have A.J. Dillon come in, and then Jamal Williams is coming back, so we'll see what happens there. But either way, it's low risk because I think he got him in the 10th round. So, good there. Sleeper, Hayden Hurst. Kind of took that pick away from me because I like Hayden Hurst this year. Dude's replacing Austin Hooper, had over 100 targets last year. Matt Ryan really likes the tight end position, going all the way back to Tony Gonzalez. So, I think it's a no-brainer as long as he stays healthy. Make or break players, Miles Sanders and Devontae Parker. If those dudes do anything close to what the way they were drafted, then, he could have a really good season. But if they don't, his team will probably be pretty trash. Strengths, roster balance. He's pretty balanced in his entire roster. I'm not a big Kyler guy, but everyone else is, so maybe that pans out for him. Weaknesses, running back depth. I don't really like the depth he has. He didn't get Sanders' handcuff either, so I didn't really like that. Draft grade, B-. Preseason rank 8th. Sorry, Clint. Love you, though. 12th pick, Blake, the cocaine cowboy during the draft. Dude looked like he was on an episode of Cops the entire time. uh, best pick. Eric Ebron, 16th. Low risk. Dude's talented. He's been getting a lot of camp hype. Big that Pittsburgh offense. We're hoping takes a step back to where or step forward, I guess, back to where they were the year before last with Big Ben being there. Worst pick, Anthony McFarland. Way too early. I like the guy, but I mean, if you don't have the starter, I think that's just kind of a wasted pick. Favorite keeper, I guess Drake, because Drake's his only keeper, but he had to trade a first rounder for that. So hopefully Drake is an RB1. I mean, that's all you have to hope, using your sixth pick overall to get him. Sleeper, Jerick McKinnon. I know a lot of people aren't fans of that dude, but he is still getting paid quite a bit to be a running back there, and I do think he gets some kind of work, maybe even if it's just for trade bait for him to be traded somewhere else, so someone else can eat the rest of his contract. But he has been getting a lot of camp hype. They've said he's looked like the best running back in camp, so I actually liked that pick. Make or break player, Le'Veon Bell / Adam Gase, I guess, because Adam Gase is a fucking retard. Anyways, dude has one of the best running back talents in the league still to this day. Le'Veon Bell, I feel that way about him. Still not too old. I think he's only 27 or 28. Still pretty young. You know, he sat out of season, so a little wear and tear off his body. Their offensive line isn't great, but I mean, it's just Le'Veon Bell needs to be getting 30 touches a game, in my opinion, with how terrible that offense is. So if that happens, great. If not, Blake's team's going to suffer. Strengths, tight end, you got Kelsey. His wide receivers are pretty good, too, from what I can remember. I should have this pulled up, but I don't. Let me see here. I can't remember. It was... fuck it. I wrote it, so I guess it's a strength. Fuck, I don't really give a fuck. His weaknesses is running back depth. I don't really like a lot of the depth there. So we'll see. It's always a guessing game with fantasy football. I gave him a draft grade of a B minus because he does have some stability at position. So I didn't like that. But his preseason rank is 10th, so he's right there above me, I believe. Wait, didn't I put myself at 10th? I might have fucked that up. Let's see here. Yeah, so I'm gonna put myself at 11th. I think Blake actually does have a better team than me, but I'll have his players soon enough, anyways. And yeah, that's it, fuckers. That is the draft review. I'll be doing one of these every week for whether it's draft review. Well, obviously not draft review anymore, but picks for the season. I'll do a review of the past week's games. And sorry to waste your day with an almost 30-minute video.